Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and sorry for yesterday, I couldn't upload yesterday, I was very busy, but today it's going to be a bit of combined of yesterday's video and today's news. So today is going to be probably a bit long, it's going to be a bit of a longer video. So first let's just get started with NATO. So if you haven't heard, the NATO summit was in full swing yesterday, so I'll just give you the key statements from the final day of the NATO summit in the USA. So, apparently, coming from the NATO summit, more than 20 countries and the EU signed a document at the NATO summit to escalate military assistance to Kiev, so to Ukraine. NATO countries agreed to support Ukraine with $40 billion for 2025, with further discussion to follow. High representatives of the alliance will be stationed in Kiev to coordinate with local authorities. NATO countries will extend an invitation to Kiev to join the alliance upon the agreement of allies and the fulfillment of necessary conditions, and will support Ukraine's efforts to continue reforms. A new NATO training center for Ukraine in Poland will focus on studying the lesson of the conflict. Macron stated that he will support Kiev as long as necessary. Erdogan, the president of Turkey, deemed it unacceptable for NATO to become a party to the conflict in Ukraine. Scholz, the chancellor of Germany, promised to discuss the supply of ammunition for Ukrainian F-16'S fighters if asked. And Biden considered the summit to be a tremendous success. So, pretty big updates coming from the NATO summit. We also got news from the Finnish president that he stated here, if you can see in the bottom left corner, he states, Ukraine's NATO membership is irreversible. Orban has nothing to negotiate about. This was said by the Finnish president, Alexander Stubb. So, when we're talking about Viktor Orban, we have some actually breaking news. So the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban and Donald Trump discussed the situation in Ukraine during a meeting in Florida. So pretty interesting news. Viktor Orban met not with Joe Biden, but with Donald Trump to discuss the peace treaty and how to stop this war. According to Orban, Trump is determined to end the conflict after his victory in the US presidential elections. So very interesting. And now we've got some news coming from Fox News. So Fox News has reported that Russia is apparently interfering in the 2024 election to help Trump, US intelligence officials say. So if you don't remember, I think it's in, I don't remember what year it was, but when Donald Trump was versing Hillary Clinton in the presidential debates and stuff, Russia was apparently blamed for interfering with the elections then. So apparently Russia, according to Fox News, is going to interfere with the elections. So we got some news coming from the Slovakian Prime Minister. Robert Fico has stated that his party will not support Ukraine's entry into NATO, citing concerns that it would lead to a third world war. So one of the acts of joining NATO that everyone must agree for the country to join NATO, I'm pretty sure. So, if Ukraine wants to join NATO, it has to get all of the NATO's permission, all of the countries in NATO's permission to join. So, Slovakia has stated that it will deny Ukraine's entry into NATO. And Hungary might do this, Turkey might do this, maybe Bulgaria, some probably Eastern countries. So, Slovakian Prime Minister will reject and not support Ukraine's entry into NATO. So, we got more news coming from Germany that the US will begin deploying long-range weapons in Germany in 2026, according to the Pentagon. The future long-range strike system the US will deploy in Germany includes the SM-6 Tomahawk and hypersonic weapons. So, We actually got news from Moscow that I'm pretty sure it will retaliate to these weapons if stationed in Germany. Russia will retaliate. So, very interesting. We got news coming from Poland that so apparently Poland might actually give its last MiG-29s to Ukraine due to the sudden loss of Ukraine's MiG-29s and the Su-27 fighter jets, old Soviet planes. So apparently Ukraine has continued to lose warplanes to Russian missiles. It wants Poland's remaining MiG-29s as replacements. So this was stated by a lot of sources. So apparently Ukraine wants the last of Polish MiG-29s. We got news from Argentina. So it is reported that Argentina's defense minister Lucis has announced Argentina's readiness to supply weapons to Ukraine. So Argentina seems to be wanting to supply weapons to Ukraine. I'm pretty sure like a month ago, or I'm pretty sure quite a long time ago now, that Argentina did supply, I'm pretty sure, 6 old Soviet helicopters, which they didn't use, but now Argentina seems to be getting involved in the conflict. So we got news coming from Denmark that Denmark will finance the production of the Ukrainian self-propelled gun Podana. So according to the Ministry of Defense of Denmark, the first 18 Ukrainian 2C-22 Podana self-propelled artillery units under this agreement will be delivered to the defenses forces of the armed forces. So very, very interesting. And we got news coming from Belarus and China. So if you haven't heard in the past couple of days, there's been a joint Belarusian and Chinese exercises currently being taken place near the borders of Poland and Ukraine. So it'll probably be around here. So it's pretty interesting what's happening here, and I'll be sure to keep you updated on that. But when talking about China, we've got news that China has called NATO a relic of the Cold War and demands that the alliance not to interfere in Asian affairs. So this was stated by the Chinese Foreign Ministry representative, so Lin Jian. So if you see him in the bottom left corner, so he's saying that it's a relic of the Cold War, and that and if NATO tries to expand to Asia, so maybe the Philippines, I don't know, maybe South Korea or Japan, something like this. This could really spark something. So it seems that Russia's not the only one really cautious about NATO expansion. It's China too. So we've also got more news coming from Beijing that China will never add fuel to the fire of the Ukrainian crisis, and certainly will not supply weapons to one side or another of the conflict, said the Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian. We've got more news coming from NATO and Belgium and also Poland. So Poland will not comply with Ukraine's request to shoot down missiles over its territory if NATO does not support this, said the head of the Republic Ministry of Defense. So if you haven't heard the news that Poland didn't take out of question that it might actually start shooting down Russian missiles in Ukraine. So this is a big step, well, in my view, of escalation. And apparently Poland won't do this until it gets full support of NATO. NATO has called deepening cooperation between the Russian Federation and Belarus a threat to itself, according to the joint declaration following the alliance summit. We got news from Norway that Norway will supply 6 F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. The Prime Minister stated. So 6 F-16s are probably going to be on its way, and that's, well, when talking about F-16s, we've got a statement from Anthony Blinken about the F-16s. So give this a bit of a listen.
And I'm also pleased to announce that as we speak, the transfer of F-16 jets is underway, coming from Denmark, coming from the Netherlands, and those jets will be flying in the skies of Ukraine this summer to make sure that Ukraine can continue to effectively defend itself against the Russian aggression.
So Anthony Blinken said there that these F-16s will be they'll be up and running this summer. So we can expect F-16s this summer in Ukraine. We've got news from the UK Parliament and House of Commons that the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland will give Ukraine £3 billion a year for as long as it takes, says Starmer, the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And Starmer also says that Ukraine can use UK missiles to strike inside Russia. So this is pretty big. It doesn't state what the limits of these UK missiles. So obviously the UK missiles being the Storm Shadow missiles. So it doesn't say that how far these UK missiles are allowed to be struck in Russia. Maybe it could be able to strike Moscow or even all the way in Kazan. So very interesting news coming from there. We've got some news coming from Vladimir Putin in Moscow that Vladimir Putin announces that in the future BRICS might form its own parliament. So just give this a watch.
Да, БРИКС пока не имеет собственной институционально оформленной парламентской структуры. Но полагаю, что в будущем эта идея обязательно реализуется.
So, according to that video, we could expect a BRICS parliament in the coming probably years. So pretty soon, probably. So coming from near Tehran. So Tehran, the capital of Iran. So apparently Iran is expanding its ballistic missile facilities, reveals new satellite images. So if you can see here in your bottom left corner, apparently Iran is expanding its ballistic missile facilities and drone facilities. So this is very interesting, and I'll be sure to keep you updated on that. We got news coming from Hezbollah and the Israeli border, especially near the Syrian, near the Syrian, Israeli and Lebanon border, so around here. So Hezbollah has released recent footage of fighters targeting Israeli military sites along the border with Lebanon. So if you can see these videos here, so it seems to be like some missile hitting like a radio tower or something along the Israel border. We got news from the DPRK, so North Korea. So we got some pretty weird news coming from South Korea and North Korea. So apparently North Korea has been deploying poop balloons, so human feces in balloons, and they've been flying them over to South Korea. So apparently this is called psychological warfare, and wreaking the havoc in the South Korea. So analysts are concerned and the effects of Pyongyang sending thousands of balloons carrying human feces over the border, while also test launching missiles. Apparently these balloons are going everywhere in South Korea, so it's very weird that these balloons are filled to the brim of feces. So very weird news. China has announced that Tesla is now the official government car of China. For the first time ever, Tesla cars have been placed on the Chinese government purchase list. So Tesla is the only foreign-owned EV car brand on the purchase catalogue published by the government of Jiangsu province in eastern China, highlighting the cozy relationship between China has with Elon Musk. And we got some news that Apple has become the first company ever to reach a 3.5 trillion market gap. So sorry if my voice is a bit more weird. I've been sick these current days, but it doesn't matter. So thank you very much for watching. I am Non-Scene News. I'll try and provide you the non-scene news that Western medias and other medias do not show you. So I do these videos hopefully daily, And if you want to continue getting the non-scene news every day, so consider subscribing and liking. And thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.